Evening, folks. It's 10:38 Pacific time. It is the PM on the 4th of October 2017 from the 45th North 121 West. Latitude, longitude, respectively. Here's our moon. I didn't take note of the fullness it's supposed to be. But it's looking quite full to me. And quite bright. From my earlier footage when I ran out of battery charge. I know it's awful quiet, people, but I am circumnavigating the outer perimeter of this nearly full moon. And I think I made it right there. And let's come back into about right there. Let's watch this thing float through here once. See what we observe. Depth right off the bat. Can anybody else see into the moon as I am observing? Focus on some of them lines that you see coming from the higher parts down into the lower parts and back around and back up. Let's take right down there, for instance. I'll get back to it right here as soon as I do a EaRTH. As soon as I do a complete observation, then I'll get into discussing what I'm observing on my end. Because woo-ha-ya, this moon is very wondrous. Now the EaRTH, lots of them on this full moon, or near full.
Observing the digital screen, as you say, sometimes it picks up things that we all don't see. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of lights in there right now.
Look how bright it is.
Ah. So those lights. This is something because
Speak up. Don't at all.
because you got a lot of lights. Almost like sparklers and dust. Glitters. Sometimes it's dark and you just see a few light ones. I mean, yeah, just a couple light ones. This time looks like there's a lot of light ones. How can it change so much? Except for those manholes.
Okay, let's take this feature right here. Let's start at the hole right there at the center. Take note of the edge right there where it's dark and light. The light part being an upper elevation, and as it darkens, follow them lines down to the bottom of that hole right there in the middle, and then they turn and they come back up and out to the top surface again, where that feature right there is a high object. It appears through observation of them lines on the moon when you get a close look. And then right there off to the left you have that ridge. Notice the lines going down on the right side as well as the left side, and notice that ridge goes down from the super bright light coming towards the center of the screen. Then it does its radius swoop and points back to the top as it comes back up. And you have just look at the lines leading up to that feature right there, folks. You got that ridge line right there that you can see in that super bright work light right there, or whatever that light that's working. I'm going to put it to you that way because that light is definitely working. And you come over here to the edge. Let me get out of the brightness of it. And at the edge you can see this edge of the darkness of that little moon right there. You can see the crispness of the edge as it is dropping in elevation drastically, especially up in there. Don't tell me you can't see it on the upload. This is some excellent footage of the moon. Come into here and you're gonna notice the same phenomena. Like you can see that slightly shadowed piece right there off to the right of the high spot, and right there on that shadowed piece you can see the crispness of the edge where that continues to drop down a little bit. So it's a lower elevation. Then you got that super peak right there, and you can tell that just on the right of that super peak it seems to drop off right there, and you look right below that radius right there, you can see edge indicating elevation difference. And then it drops off into that darker abyss right there, and then you come back across onto that upper elevation of it, and then it drops off again a little bit right there. In this edge right here it's a little brighter, so you really can't see the crispness of the edge as it comes back. But then you have all of them super bright working lights, as I'm going to call them, because they are definitely super bright and working at night. And then you can see the, please, I already have, hon. And then you can also see the ridge and valley effect right in there as the shadows, as we're coming back down into the Tycho area down here at the bottom. And notice the difference of them lines coming from Tycho, how they stay into the radius form on the top. And I can't explain this, folks, because right in here, beyond there, when you look into that darkness right there, it appears that the elevation busts there too, and that's a lower spot, but that line, highway line right there, indicates that it stays round on the surface somehow. I don't know, I'm just taking my general basic observations and applying common sense and reason to them, people, on known features, shadowing, light, shadow effects. Just what we actually know through observation, and I'm applying it. Because I'm no different than you, I want to know. And if you're here, that's because you want to know. We may never know, but NASA sure the fuck knows. We funded them to find out. See, you can see definite elevation busts all the way through this stuff when you apply your reason and your common sense and just how perspective works. Look at that little part of that V right there. I'm going to put it right in the middle of the screen. You got that V part right there. Or not V, excuse me, A without the leg. Indicating that ridge along there towards the middle, and how it comes down right there on the left hand side of the screen and across and back up at the top right now. That line, just focus on that line and how it moves across the screen right there. Does that not indicate depth? I've been through these ones with you. It goes down, looking at that dot from the bottom of the screen, you see the lines going down, up, down, and back up into there. And you can definitely see that that is an edge. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about the observation of that area right there being highly cliff and depth, very depthy right there next to that access hole or whatever it is. I don't know and you don't know. And but that hole there in the middle of the screen also appears to be a little higher than the area above it or below it. Below being the obvious cliff. feature. Well, I've ran my stupidity enough. Why don't some of you comment what you're observing? Why do I have to be the only town fool? Balls, suckers. This is one of my favorite areas of the moon anymore. I mean, that area right there shows obvious depth. Just focus on the features and how they are reacting in the light. And realize that's not just flat that you're looking at. That's some super elevation bust right there between the peak, Bertolite, and the valley on which it recedes to. There's some serious depth right there, folks. How much, I don't know. But you can observe it. Right there, just off the middle, you have where that light is. Off to the left of that, you have that ridge area right there. More ridge area in the center. The wave going out to Tycho. See that? That's how much observation I've done with this moon. I can tell you that just by looking at some of these features, I know exactly where they're coming from anymore. With that, folks, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes of observing the moon as a whole that she is tonight, or as near as I can tell it is. I don't pay attention to that. Rise and earth rise, moon rise, sunrise, whatever the fuck. It's a bunch of bullshit. I've been left out there filming nothing more times than I've been out there filming what they say's out there. I will have to say though, they've never been late. But their earliness is never systematically early. A little more zooming out here. Coming to a wire. I won't zoom out. I was gonna zoom out. Yeah, I gotta zoom out. So you can see how bright it is, folks. How that just... I don't know if it's because of the wire there too. Probably has some effect to it. But you can observe for yourself here the luminous